Have you ever completely messed something up and then months later realized that messing up actually helped you more than getting it right would have? Because I have, and I didn't realize it at the time, but some of the most embarrassing, frustrating moments of my life are the ones I'm actually the most grateful for now. My name is Cece, and I've learned way more from messing up than from doing things right. When I was younger, I thought the goal was simple, just get it right the first time. It was always the same, follow directions, don't embarrass yourself, be prepared, and do not look clueless. But here's the thing. Whenever someone explained something perfectly to me, like step by step, I felt like I understood, but then later I wouldn't remember half of it. What I do remember are my mistakes. And it's not just school mistakes either. I remember a time when I completely misread a situation socially. I said something I thought was funny, and it just landed completely wrong. The room got quiet, and I immediately knew I had messed up. I wanted to rewind that moment so badly. But later, I realized that experience made me more aware. It made me think before I speak and actually pay attention to how others feel. Similarly, I remember sitting in class when one of my old teachers handed back an assignment. I flipped to the front page expecting a decent grade, and instead I saw a ton of red ink. My first thought wasn't even, oh no. It was, wait, what? And then as I read the feedback, I realized I had answered a completely different question from the one asked. I could actually feel my face getting hot. I avoided eye contact with everyone. I just kept thinking, how did I miss that? I remember thinking, I don't need help, I've got this, and then very quickly realizing I did not have it. I remember that horrible sinking feeling when you realize the problem isn't the directions. It's you. Those moments were uncomfortable. Actually, they were flat out embarrassing, but I never made those same mistakes again. Why? Because I felt them. It wasn't just information. It was an experience that I was taking in, processing, and understanding. Here's what I started to notice. We put so much pressure on teenagers to get everything right. Our parents will tell us to pick the right classes, make the right choices, say the right thing, and plan our entire future correctly. And when we mess up, it feels huge, and because of that pressure, a lot of us try to avoid mistakes completely. We play it safe, we don't ask questions, we don't take risks, because we are scared of getting it wrong. But when you avoid mistakes, you don't actually grow. You just get comfortable. And then when something finally doesn't go your way, you don't know how to handle it. But fortunately, most of our mistakes right now are pretty low stakes as high schoolers. And that's almost a gift, small failures teach fast. When you misunderstand something, you learn to ask better questions. When you assume you know better and you're wrong, you learn humility. When you try and fail and the world doesn't end, you build confidence. But we don't treat mistakes like gifts. We treat them like proof that we're not smart enough or ready enough. And that's where gratitude comes in. I used to think gratitude was just about being thankful for things such as good grades, supportive friends, and opportunities that I was lucky enough to obtain. But what if gratitude is also about being thankful for the moments that correct you? Gratitude changes the way you see a mistake because gratitude forces you to zoom out. It makes you ask yourself if a mistake will matter in 5 years and realize it doesn't. But what will matter is the skill you built because of it, the patience, the humility, the ability to admit that you were wrong and try again. Instead of thinking, wow, I'm bad at this, you start thinking, okay, this is teaching me something. Instead of feeling ashamed, you get curious. Instead of avoiding failure, you can use it. Being grateful for your mistakes doesn't mean you enjoy them. I personally do not enjoy them. It just means you recognize that they're helping to shape you. They're building judgment and resilience. They're making sure that when something actually important happens later, something high stakes, you've already practiced messing up and recovering. Some people make big life-changing mistakes because they've never been wrong before. They've never had their confidence checked. I'm grateful my mistakes are happening now when they're small because they're preparing me for later in life. The mistakes that embarrass you today might be the exact reason you make the right decision tomorrow. And one day you might look back and realize the moments you wanted to erase were actually the ones that helped you grow the most. Thank you.